Hey everyone, Gavin Lance, top here. I'm here with Andrew, a great man. He's a farmer, he's a father, he's just an awesome champion bloke who's got such a generous heart. One of our Man Alive experience, really just champions. Mate, thanks for coming on today.
Thanks so much, Gav. That's a massive introduction. Thank you.
Yeah, well, mate, a massive bloke, and mate, you've got a phenomenal comeback story. But first of all, mate, can I ask, what was life like prior to starting the Man Live Experience mentorship?
Yeah, so I guess where was I then? And I was post a horrible divorce, which at the time it felt like I was on a path that no one else had been on, Gav. It felt like I was going through this new thing, and I was the victim. It was a horrible time. It had been many others had been through a very similar story to mine. But it was 14 months. I was in a house that was, well, it was a fixer-upper. Let's just put it that way. And I guess going through that period, yeah, I felt lost really. I was looking for more and looking for some direction, I suppose. Yeah. So.
And mate, so I suppose what, like, when it comes to the Man Alive, what did you see? What did you read? Who did you talk to? How did you get started?
Yeah, look, I guess I was lucky. I ran into Cheetah. For those that are in the Man Alive know the man. He's a pretty passionate fella.
Yes.
His story was very similar to mine. He'd been through a divorce. He'd had similar experiences within family. I would like to think myself as someone that's relatively driven, and I think I probably aspired to what he was achieving. And he sort of mentioned Man Alive, and yeah, it was pretty appealing. So that's really what got me involved, Gav, for sure.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. And so what happened then? Like, did you read any of my books or?
So yeah, sort of got involved. Read the book. Started the 21-day challenge. I think look, the rest is history. Really, I think you reached out and
I think Cheetah reached out to me and said, "Mate, you got to ring Andrew." I got a live one. I think he said.
Yeah, so that's how it started, and really, I could still, like, I wanted more, really, as we all do. Like, you're just like, well, you'd been through that period where felt lost, wanted something more, wanted more direction, wanted to define where my passion was, where my mission was, where I was heading, and wanted to reinvigorate the drive to get there, I suppose, was what I was looking for. So, yeah.
Well, mate, I can remember, those first couple of conversations that we had, and mate, you were hurting. You were, you copped the belt from the divorce, financially, emotionally. Your heart was broken. Like, you're missing your kids.
Yeah,
it was, yeah.
Yeah, yes, it's and even the start. Even the first few lives I put up, like, it's pretty yeah, it was tough. And I guess it's like anything in life, it's really the case of, yeah, I think there was one of those ones that there is a book, but I think someone made the comment there at one point, when you can't see the way through, you just got to take the next step. And I think for anyone that's really, so many men have, and so many friends of ours you have those really challenging times in life where you can't, you just got to take the next step and keep chipping away. And that's been a major part of the journey, really, as you.
And mate, so now you're over a year down the track, mate, into your second year of the Man Alive. Mate, what's you're sticking around, mate. So there's obviously some good things. What's been I suppose, a couple of the best things that have happened?
Oh, look, look, there's a couple of the best things, I suppose. Look, for me, so when I started, I've always wanted to end up on a patch of ground. We'd previously had a farm, and at the point when I started Man Alive, I was just like, I don't know that that'll ever happen again. It's as simple as that. A really hard realization for me. and really hard for me to not be able to bring up the kids the way that I wanted to. And for me, I've had the opportunity. I'm now living on a house on 40 acres in North Vic, which is it's a pretty. I mean, I'm very grateful for it, and it's a ripping spot. Like I think
it's a miracle, mate. To go in a year you didn't think that would ever happen again. To actually living on a property and with cattle.
There's a few cattle running around, and there's a creek that I could. I mean, it's you throw a stone from the back veranda into the creek, and I mean, when it's raining and there's a bit of water around, you can walk outside and hear the creek flowing. And I mean, at the moment I've got to pinch myself, to be honest. I mean, you walk out and there's trees in the creek, leaves change, like colours changing. There's birds flying around. It's really quite idyllic. But I mean, takeaways from the Man Alive, I think it's pretty hard to put your finger on. I mean, there's been some big ones for me, but I mean, really, the realisation, and something that Cheetah says, is being the victor, not the victim, I suppose, which is it's a really hard realisation. And I mean, I say that with respect, because I mean, there's been so many people that have been through so much more than what I've been through, and my story isn't that dissimilar to many. But even some of those little ones, the quotable quotes from "Rest Don't Quit" from Troy Smith, ugly, like for me, I find myself, I want to do things perfect, consistent. I always want to do things perfect, which for so many of us prevent us from starting something. So, like to Mick Saunders saying, "Look, do it ugly, just get in and get it done." And probably the biggest one is being grateful for what I have now, because it felt like I'd lost so much, which I mean, but I mean, now I'm lucky enough that I have time with my kids and I have a good location that I can experience it in, and it's good. So,
and I think being like you say, we talk about being a single father and getting your kids, and what's it like to have, like your own property that you can have your children. Playing cricket, what's that feel like? How, I mean, because the result of this is about being a better father for your children, a better man. So how are they doing?
Well, look, through the journey we've had, really, it's around seeing the kids being really well regulated and just having the calm effect. So having the silence, and like when you've been through that period where everything's just so here, level of agitation and everything else, and being able to take it easy. I mean, we've got it's an old Suzuki Sierra, which we boot around, drive around the cows. I mean, they can run around. It's quiet, ride their bikes. It's just, it's quite idyllic, and really grateful for it. There's space for friends to come visit. It's, it's pretty awesome, Gav. I'm very grateful. I know that I'm very blessed to be able to achieve what's happened. It's been pretty awesome.
And I mean, mate, even with, I can remember at the start saying, man, I don't know whether, like, you need to change and develop and invest in yourself, but you don't know whether you've got the money. And I suppose how's that been for you?
Yeah, I think it's the mindset change. I mean, it's always, I mean, I think it's the old frustration, isn't anything that's worth doing well. Anything that's worth doing is, I mean, quite often it's tough to do. So it's the change from the mentality of I can't afford that to what can I do to afford that, for me was probably the mindset change.
Yeah.
And going through that process, I mean, you were really great to work with us through that as well, to help us achieve that. But
because I remember you saying you started earning more money, you started getting more opportunities. So
yeah, exactly. So if I look at like what my salary was, or what it was up to date for the last near to 12 months, the salary that I was on when I started MAE would be 65% of what my salary is now. And
that's pretty good.
And that's not including what I might be able to do with the hobby farm, which
there's
obviously benefits in business doing that as well. So it's good things, really. And look, at something that when Cheetah said, he said, look, don't worry about that bit, that'll come. Look, and that's a hard, when you're in that space, I mean, it's a hard space and get your head around. I mean, I suppose, derivative term, but just a wage earner. It felt really hard to manage and unmanageable.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, looking back, it's opened up opportunity that it's pretty amazing. Like it's
Mate,
awesome.
it's good. And mate, the truth is, mate, you did it. You had the courage. You know, you backed yourself. You did it when you did it ugly. You did
Yep.
you did it when it was uncomfortable, and you know your kids are reaping the benefits. Your bank balance is reaping the benefit, mate. You got cattle reaping the benefit. It's bloody, it's awesome. It's great. So, mate, there's going to be there's going to be men that are going to, you know, maybe in a similar situation to what you were, you know, a bit over a year ago. Like I think you said the word, you know, felt like a bit of a victim, mate. What would you say to those guys?
Look, I think it just comes back. I think we all know deep down when we've been through something what's good for us and what's not, and what roughly the right direction is just head in the right direction, really. For me, certainly MAE was the right direction for me, but I think it's always surround yourself with good people. Move in the right direction, work on yourself, and prioritize yourself, and work from there. And that's, I mean, I think MAE is really, I mean, it's complemented that. It's I mean, I'm worked on environment. I realised that doing the lone wolf thing, which was what I was doing, was just head down, bum up. I'm just going to go like I did. I moved to a new region, 200 k's away from where my social networks were. I was just going to do it on my own. Head down, let's do this. And the realisation that you need a team around you and a good environment. Certainly MAE has provided. Gavin helped me build it in my social network in my new location as well. So,
yeah, it's great. It's great. And mate, with the Mandalore experience, would you say was it? I mean, what was it? Was it the videos each week in Kajabi? Was it the Zoom? Was it the group of men? The accountability? What's been? I suppose what's worked well for you?
Well, I think for me, I mean, making it to the Zooms every Tuesday for me has been that's been the big one for me. Engaging with yourself. I mean, some of the messages you've had through that journey has been really, really important. And just the comments that the other men have come out with during that time. Like I said, like those comments from Troy Smith and Mick Saunders, I mean, there's a bucket load of other names there I could roll through. Watching the other lives roll through and realising that my story isn't that dissimilar, and probably too the realization that my story and even some of my own realizations was helping other men. Like, I mean, we're sitting here having this conversation. I've just chipped away, Gav. Like, I mean, 1% of what you say, and I don't think I've done that. I mean, there's been times I've been behind on things, and I mean, life gets in the way of things, but. Yeah, look, I think really realising you do it with a bunch of people, and there's, I mean, obviously people that you meet that you stick with. But really, I think Zoom every Tuesday for me, doing the lives, feedback from others, and I mean, when things are getting on there and just watching other blokes' lives and realising that, it is actually a great space, and other people have been on the path that I've been on or am on, and I think it's pretty awesome. So
mate, awesome, so good, mate. Thank you for your time. Thanks for jumping on, mate. I really appreciate it.
Nah, look, I appreciate it, Gav, and look, I appreciate the great men in MAE. I mean, you're an inspiration, and so are they. It's been a great ride, and look forward to what the rest of the year brings us. So
that's right. Right.
Thanks,
and listen, everyone. You leave a comment, leave this bloke some encouragement. He's doing great. Any questions you got, leave a comment. I'm sure Andrew and myself will do our best to answer them.
Awesome. Thanks, Gav.
Over and out.